is 6:30 on Sunday morning, end of July. There's already people on the road. Oh, good morning, comrade. So, let's see what we can see here. I was told I moved too fast. Honestly, I make these videos so I can remember things for myself, not honestly expecting anybody else to ever see them. So I'm kind of shocked that somebody has, or even a couple somebodies. So dahlias that were overwintered on a cat who's checking everything out because she's got to be the main character. Am I right? Oh, thank you for the butt. Appreciate that. My Artemisia, which was like a nice little mound. Oh, hi. Oh, don't eat the bee. We have cat versus bee here. Don't eat the bee. So Artemisia was a nice little mound, and it kind of flopped over, and it's been really hot. And you can see this evening primrose that I planted to initially sort of take over this space. I was hoping that it would. I was, heard that it reseeded readily, and it does. Over the course of about 3 years, it's kind of become just a full ground cover. I have to cut it back after it's done blooming. But so this is kind of flopped over, and the evening primrose is kind of eating it. So we're gonna have to do something about that. This time is kind of sad. Oh, sorry, cat just wants to be in the picture here. She's very insistent. So yeah, it looks like it's got a little bit of dieback. We have some blue spice basil turning up. That's reseeding from last year. Might even be tulsi. I'll put that up here. So this is what happens to the evening primrose after it goes to seed. So, but I'm pretty sure it grows by rhizome too, so it's turned crazy. It looks like maybe I have another blue basil there. This is another dahlia that I overwintered, and you can see, looks like, oh no, maybe it's coming back. We had a very long, hot, dry period, so a good many things have gone over and been damaged. So like this little calendula plant, calendula is pretty tough, but my rain barrel hose was not long enough to get here. So a lot of these things just didn't get watered. See, my zinnias have finally started to come in, and these are all reseeded from last year. So I've got a little yarrow happening there. It's coming in nicely. I've got a little lavender. I just started to put on some flowers. I think that was put in this year. Oh, another little baby yarrow. And let's see. The sage is a little poorly. It looks like I have a little bit of morning glory popping up through here. This calendula. These are all reseeding from last year. There's a little salvia that it's kind of struggled. I think she's getting crowded out, but also maybe a little too dry. But that was a moray, I think from Baker Creek Seeds. And then this red salvia, much happier. This is from a local company called So True Seed, which I try to buy most of my seeds from. And I always get a little something from Baker Creek because everything's so unusual. That's a little blue spice right there. I'm going to go ahead and pinch off this tiny flower that's forming because that'll make it branch. You see I've got a lot of borage coming in. We have a second crop of borage. The strawberries took a beating. And so I started to say we had a long, hot and dry spell, but it's been raining for about 2 weeks straight, so the things that didn't get killed have come back pretty spectacularly. One thing that did not, oh, there's another blue spice. We're gonna have a whole blue spice forest, and it smells wonderful. So that's fantastic. And the bees love it. It turns into a bush if it's really happy. Oh, there's a dahlia. That looks like it might be about to make some flowers. But yeah, 2 weeks of rain. So some things didn't make it. The poppies that I planted out here never made it. Oh, this cat, she's never been so insistent on my attention. She's usually like, oh, we'll talk later, it's fine. Let's see, I've had plenty of grass turn up. Hi, cat. My ajugas that were almost dead are back, so that's awesome. And a little bit of yarrow that I transplanted. This dahlia that the cat wants to be in front of. This looks like it's about to flower as well. It's another one that I overwintered. Catmint. See, can you go hang out in the catmint, please, and chill out a little bit? Has come back. I just cut it back. Well, I guess it was about a month ago. I cut it all back. Oh, cat. That was almost a rock out of my wall. Uh-oh. That probably means it's about to fall down anyways. But yeah, cut it back and it's finally reblooming. And these are another one of those really nice sort of space fillers. Oh, I planted about a bajillion mondo grasses. I guess maybe that one's finally taken hold. A lot of those have died in the drought. We don't want to focus on the salvia flower. Okay. That guy, which I believe is called a Tradescantia, which I have several propagations of. I'm hoping it'll be perennial, I don't know. Bachelor's button, kind of the last of its kind here. Some more salvia, more yarrow. I got a yarrow from a nursery that had about a bajillion plants in it, so I divided it up, put it out. Let's see here. Heucheras. Some of them are doing pretty okay. I cut down the bachelor button. So that's kind of what I do if something's, the catnip really struggling, looked really sad after it bloomed, so I basically cut it all down. I left it here for Comrade to get, but that'll come back from the roots. It'll probably come back bigger too. It'll take a little while. Little cacti. The one on the porch, I don't know why this is not focusing so easily. On the porch is putting on a little fruit. All right, let's come up around here. Got a wild grapevine growing out of the sidewalk. A mimosa tree, my husband cut back for me a little bit. Okay, so from the back side, all my little trees, plum trees, finally taken off. It took a little bit. The one closest to the maple, because maples are apparently bullies. Looks like I've had some kind of critter digging around in here. That's a little mole, I guess, because I'm seeing little mounds and then a hole over there, which, you know, they eat bugs, so it sounds good to me. So yeah, a bunch of zinnias popping up there. Maybe I'll even come down in here for a minute. So I got a bunch of baby zinnias. But everything on this side suffers because of that maple tree right there. So it takes a lot to get anything started. I've got penstemon right there that transplanted that looks like it's struggling. Little baby agastache. Yarrow does seem to do okay. It takes a minute to get going. Hi, cat. Salvia, red salvia. I think it's called red sage salvia. The sage relative. It's another dahlia. I did actually come out and take a flower off of that 2 days ago, so I'm sorry about that. I guess I got another one too. And I think the flowers are slightly different. I'm thinking about it. I don't normally come in here, so let me do a little sneak. I got more yarrow. Most of the yarrow is red. I have this Grrl here, which is lovely, and I'm hoping it'll start showing off a little bit. This cat, she will not leave me alone this morning. She must be lonely. And I've got another dahlia in there, and that dahlia I've actually left in the ground over winter. So I may leave some dahlias in the ground next time. We'll see. It's filbert, American hazelnut. So let's come up here. You see there's a lot happening there. We've still got a lot to fill in. There's been way too much life happening to do a lot of especially the bigger projects. So it's dianthus. Looks like it's about to open. That's one of those Baker Creek interesting things I had to get. It's called the zebra crossing, so it's like a dark purple inside. They're not as big as I thought they would be, but I guess, that'll learn me. Got my Dracula dahlias, little tiny guys. They look like maybe they're about to put on a flower, but I divided those up from another plant. This one is Arabian Nights, a lot of blooms on it. So that's awesome. The front is in particular, I'm trying to get it just to sort of fill it up so it'll run on its own in a lot of respects. I'm getting there. It started out as wanting to mulch the front slope so my husband wouldn't fall off the retaining wall into the road. Clematis that I planted and have not really taken care of so far. So hopefully she survives. So there's some of my, Sorry, my AirPod connected and it was in my pocket. And the sound is actually better without the AirPod. So gardenia that died down to the ground. And the Dracula. See, I have a cat fighting my pomegranate tree. She's in a mood this morning. Gotta be that main character, huh? Dracula. There's some alyssum that also reseeds pretty nicely. That's also a dianthus, the zebra crossing. So I've gotten a few flowers. Oh, cat. So this pomegranate, she must want me to talk about the pomegranate, was in a pot for like 5 years and never flowered. And I didn't want to put it in the ground because I didn't think it was hardy. And turns out that it pretty much is. It did get killed almost to the ground one year where it got down to 0 and it stayed in the low teens for like highs for a while. Like, I don't know, I want to say the highs were in the 20s for like 2 weeks. But other than that, it didn't do that this winter. So it didn't get killed back, so it's had a good time to get established, and it did actually flower. It is one that's supposed to be self-fertile, but I don't know how true that is, if I remember right. But even if you have something self-fertile, it does better if you have two, and I don't. I would like to get one soon. So a little mess here. We got some peonies. Got several in there that are making it through. So these gardenias also died down to the ground that same frost. They've come back. I've learned this is a very marginal area for gardenias. 9-bark, however, is native. I thought they'd be a little more fast growing, but this is kind of a tough spot. Very dry, like the soil up here is almost sandy, which I'm thinking is partly from, like, I don't know, mortar falling out into it. But maybe that was something they did for the foundation as well, for drainage. So irises, I need to divide these up this year. But yeah, 9-bark, this is their 3rd year in, I believe. They're doing pretty good. They're supposed to be like 4 to 5 feet wide and tall. These are Acetothera, which are like a type of lily, basically. White with sort of burgundy throats, so I thought they would look good with the 9-barks. I'm not sure if we're going to get them to bloom this year because I put them in the ground so late. And see, like, the thing that stinks is you see all this grass. There was no grass here earlier this year. We'd have like a clump here or there, and I'd pull it, and we just haven't been able to mulch in enough quantity. There's some Grrl daisies that I inherited. These were our hollyhocks. I cut down the other ones. Those have fully gone over. So yeah, I probably can't get too far into the wild patch, but you can see, so I did have, well, that's actually borage right there, but I've got several former sunflowers, and that's because I did cut off that top one there, so I had a rebloom of smaller sunflowers. We have bears that come through and will eat the sunflower seeds, so they pull down my sunflowers. I still plant them because, I like bears. Although I'm trying to be more cautious when I come out of my yard, or come out of my backyard rather. Let's see, we pulled them all the way over. Okay, let me get a little shot here. This is probably, I don't know, maybe this is the 3rd year of the wild patch. And you can see this is a lot of calendula. Calendula makes a lot of seed. I threw a lot of seed down, so now I basically have a calendula meadow. So if anybody needs calendula, that I believe is scabiosa. Let's see, there's my calendula. And then anise hyssop. There's a Russian sage that's kind of fighting through. Oh, and that, let's see, that right there is the forsythia. So hopefully next year it'll be much more full. So we have some lamb's ear, which that is native and gets to be massive. It's also very nutritious. Tastes a little bit like spinach. I've only cooked it a handful of times. I'm looking like I got a lot of anise hyssop coming in, which is also wonderful. It's usually full of bees, and it's a really tough plant too. Let's see some more things that I planted. There's several sort of red, darker sunflowers that I planted. Looks like they've been pulled over. Try and wade through the calendula for a minute. Causes all the road noise. 7 o'clock on Sunday, they're already out. Oh, that little guy. And those are, I believe, chocolate. something wrong. See, I should have looked at my seed names. I'm sorry. And then those are all raspberries. I have raspberries on the other side of the fence, and they've grown out here all on their own, mostly because there's sun. But yeah, they're starting to get fruit right on the end of the cane. Let's see. So raspberries kind of taken over. There's a little larkspur. I have put out a lot of seeds here. So I'll come back and pick some raspberries later on. Let's wander back out of the wild patch. I'm trying to be slower. That also means you're getting a lot more talking. We'll see how this goes. Yeah, I'm hoping to get a load of mulch to finish off the front section. So here's my hose I just left on my rain barrel to run out. But yeah, we haven't needed to. Oh, I almost forgot my little planter. Checking on the planter, which has been good so far, but also, like I said, it's been raining, so a little unusual. But I got it for the ice plant and the yarrow, because I know they're tough in particular, and I don't have as much experience with geraniums. Isn't that right, comrade? We coming? We're going over here? Okay, we're gonna check in on everything. We're gonna do the whole thing. We got a little planter here with heuchera and some violets, and a tiny baby hosta, and then that guy Funny, he's got little eyes that light up at night. It's kind of creepy, but awesome. My kids gave it to me. A little lavender, she's doing well. Snowball viburnum, it's a Chinese viburnum. Oh, cat. Okay, and then we have some lobelia and cardinal flower back there. So this used to be, because of the AC, this was like a whole little swamp. And so I researched what plants could take that space up and flourish, which would be kind of swampy. Viburnum and lobelia and cardinal flower can handle very damp conditions, and we don't have a swamp there anymore. Solving problems with plants. Let's see. Yeah, because of the rain, grass hasn't been mowed. A lot of weeding hasn't happened. Not that I would have weeded out some of these things anyways. But yeah, missed a little bit of my gladiolus blooming. So, in this little planter, I've also had this gargoyle for 100 years, and his wing finally broke. A heuchera. This, I believe, this happened last year, and I was like, oh, maybe it's a little sunflower because the leaves are slightly fuzzy. I actually think this is a catalpa baby, because that's what happened last year. There's a catalpa tree, which are native. A geranium. This one has like a purple flower, which is lovely. And the leaves are a little bit more silvery. I don't know if you can tell from that. Okay, so back driveway, Goth Grrl shade garden. Hostas are less than happy, but I wanted to cover up as much of the drainage pipe as I could. This mondo grass is probably the happiest out of all the ones. I had like 2 plants that got pretty, well, not big, but like big enough. I ended up dividing them up into a bunch, and the ones I planted out front, hoping they would get to be more black, have pretty much dried up, so I guess it's just too much sun out there. And then the ones back here, like, they look healthier, but they also don't get that dark black leaf, so maybe it's not enough light. So maybe black mondo grass is not in my future, I don't know. But the ajuga, which got killed back by the frost, has come back, roaring back. So that's probably going to take over the ground cover there. We've got several different types of heuchera in the bed. My poor little elderberry, black lace elderberry. Oh, sorry. I pulled a muscle in my back a couple days ago, and it's been fine. And if I move certain ways, it's like I get my back spasms, and it's like I got the wind knocked out of me, and that just happened. So apologies for the weird sound. So black lace elderberry was in the back, was not happy. I put it 2 different places. It never got happy. I moved back here, got real happy, and then it was dry for a long time. I did water it, and I've had a lot of water. So I think like the double stress, triple stress, I'm hoping it'll come back because it was very happy. I mean, it's still fine, but I just, see signs of stress where the color's not as vibrant, and yeah, and like looks like it's got some dieback there. But it did make berries, which I probably should have cut off in retrospect, but anyway. Alright, so hostas, very happy. These heucheras, more ajuga. I did it again. Okay, let me not do that anymore. I can't lean down. We'll zoom in. I don't have to. Coleus. Those were from Baker Creek Seeds. And I don't remember the name of the variety, but they were lovely. So yeah, this whole back garden had to get dug up because we had a burst pipe that had to be replaced. And so I got to divide up and replant a lot of things. This was grown from a cutting, another elderberry, just American elderberry, one of our natives. We've got a problem there where we have overspill from the gutter, so I did put in a columbine there, but also she got beat down. And there's another coleus back there, same thing. Somehow I've made this a almost 30-minute video, so I'm gonna wrap up. Whoa, the tide, to somebody who said slow down. Alright, so lots of heucheras, hostas, coleus. Those are all looking pretty good. Columbine. So the coleus and columbine all grew from seed. The heucheras, I had 3 different varieties that I bought over time, and I've just divided them up. They're really easy to divide. You pop off a little stem and put it in some dirt, and off to the races. So yeah, this whole bed is started from basically all the heucheras I have from 3 original plants, 3 different varieties that I bought at different times. So this little corner, this is also me just experimenting with what will do well, what will thrive on its own. There's another variety of heuchera. I thought that was maybe I have 4 in here now, actually. Plum pudding, apricot. No, I can't remember the other one. Oh, Pinot Grigio, maybe? Pinot something. So that's a lungwort back there. That's getting covered up by this elderberry grown from cutting. And then there's a painted fern I got on sale because it was mostly dead. And I thought I'd killed it, but like 3 years later, it's finally growing in. So there's that. And then one last little planter on top of my rain barrel, which is not as happy. And then one little sneaky peek at the hydrangea. She's doing okay. She gave us 2 blooms, so we appreciate her service for there. But I'll end on my one little spot.